one day I literally woke up and I was like, I'm moving like now. Like I can't wait anymore. It's never gonna be the right time to just move to a new city. I just realized you guys don't even know who I am, and I was about to start yapping about the mindset shift you need to move across the country, out of the country, down the street, whatever it is. Well, why should you listen to me? My name is Samari, and I'm from Oakland, California, but I moved to Washington, D.C. about 2 years ago now. And I didn't plan all that much, but I did change my mindset, and I was determined to make it happen. So we're gonna get more into that in the video. It's never gonna be the right time to just move to a new city. You just have to really make the decision and go. I moved from California to Washington, D.C. in 2023, but I've been talking about it since 2017. I visited after college. I came in for a weekend for family reunion in 2017, and I literally posted on Instagram, I could move here. I think I might move here. I don't know what the exact words were, but I said that, and then I had a friend that was living here, and she kept being like, Samara, you should come, you should come, you should come. And I just kept putting it off. I was living in LA at the time. I ended up moving back home to Oakland, and then it's easy to kind of get settled somewhere where you're so familiar, you know so many people. So that's what happened in Oakland. And then I also just found really good career opportunities that made it right to stay. So yeah, I will say, like, there is no set goal that you need to meet. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not one of those people that are like, I had $200 to my name and I moved to this city and I figured it out and everything worked out. No, I had been working in corporate for a few years, living at home, not paying rent. So like I had a solid savings when I moved, but I didn't really make a foolproof plan. That's what I will say. So at the end of 2022, I just made a decision in my head. I was like, in 2023, I'm really going to move. Like, I'm tired of talking about it. Like, that was just a goal for me. I didn't have a real plan, but I was like, I'm moving to DC or New York. So as soon as 2023 rolled around, I got a broker in New York, and I was looking there, and I was just like, this is not giving. Like, the amount I would be paying to live like on the outskirts of a city, I was like, I don't got New York money yet, but I also love DC. So that's how I ended up here, and it's been great. But I will say, part of the reason I ended up here, or part of the reason I ended up moving, was peer pressure. Or not even peer pressure, just like getting tired of talking and people are hearing you talk and not really making action on that. So I remember I was hanging out with one of my friends, and he invited me, or like told me like, oh, he was having this event, and let's say it was, I don't know what month, March. And I was like, oh, I'll probably be living in X, Y, and Z by then. And he was like, I mean, yeah, but haven't you been saying that? And in that moment, I was like, okay, so I am building a reputation of like talking and not being about it, and I didn't like that at all. And I was really actively like in the process. Like I said, I had a broker and everything by then, but I was like, no, like that's not me. I'm about to get on it, and I'm really about to go. So that's how peer pressure kind of played a part. But nonetheless, I was already on my way, period. And what was a big factor for me, so I was 27 when I moved, and I was like, okay, I am approaching my 30s. I was in a relationship at the time. It's like, I am probably getting close to starting to have some kids and moving out with my partner age. I didn't make sense to move to my own 1-bedroom apartment in Oakland because I had free rent and I have a great relationship with my family. I didn't want to move in with my partner just yet because I feel like everybody needs a live alone moment. You really need to get to know yourself and just like find out how you like to live outside of someone. So I moved to DC while he's in New York, and we were able to do long distance. That's neither here nor there because we're not together. But I don't even know why I started talking about that. Anyway, because I was saying I was getting closer to 30. And I was like, I should start having kids or something soon. And this is something that's always been on my heart. And if I don't do it now, then like, it'll probably be never. So that's how I just kind of woke up and was like, okay, I need to go. So I really had started planning for it at the beginning of the year, like I said. And then my like cousin, who's more like a sister, like at my house every day, got cancer. And I was like, it just rocked my entire world. And I was like, okay, I can't leave. Like, cancer is a very scary thing. I'm like, if something was to happen to her and I just up to move across the country, I would feel like crap for the rest of my life. So I put everything on hold while she was going through like getting tested and like really figuring out exactly what was going on. And then she started chemo, and I was able to be there for some of that like process. And then once they got to a point in the chemo where they were like, okay, she's gonna make it, she should be done by this point, I was like, okay, I need to get back to focusing on my goals as well. And that, I will say, she still had cancer when I left. It was very hard, but I just made the decision that felt right for me and my growth. And now she's doing amazing. The family is good. So yeah, it just is what it is. But that goes to show like the timing is never really perfect, and you will have to make tough decisions on like for when you move. What else about that? So real story on how like I actually made it happen. So I was very big on saving, like I said, and I would be like putting stuff in my other savings account that's not attached to my checking, blah, 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 blah. But at the beginning of the year, I was like, I am just about to like stack my money. Like I really want a real low spend. And then when it was time to move, like I didn't have to take any money out of my savings to move to DC because I went on a low spend for a couple months. Like I said, I didn't pay rent before, so it wasn't that hard, and I realized that it's a privilege everybody does not have. But I'm not talking about the financial aspect, I'm talking about the mindset. One day, I literally woke up and I was like, I'm moving like now. Like I can't wait anymore. And this was like after, like I said, the whole cancer got a little bit more settled and everything, and I was like, I'm moving now. And I woke up, I booked a few online tours of like touring different properties in DC, sent some properties to some friends like during that week and blah, blah, blah. By the end of the week that I woke up on Monday and said, I'm moving like for real, I was gone 3 weeks later. So woke up, set that on Monday. By I think the next Monday, I had signed a lease that was a move-in date for 2 weeks later, which I believe was May 7th, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, it was definitely May 7th. So yeah, I woke up, I said I'm doing it. I toured everything online. I didn't even come see anything in person. I considered it, but then I was just like, I picked a neighborhood in DC that I had visited before, and I did it. And I don't have any regrets. Like, I started to make friends, like in my building. I moved into a very social building. And then even beyond, like just hitting up people that I knew but didn't have very close relationships with. And it worked out. And it hasn't been like super smooth. It does get lonely. You do have to really put yourself out there. And then like life continues to happen at home even though you moved. And that goes back to me saying like you just kind of have to choose what works for you at that time, because things are always going to happen. So for example, like I said, my cousin got cancer, and that almost like made me stay at home. And it did for a little bit, but not too long. But so by the time her cancer was like completely in remission, that was September 2023. And that same month, my great aunt, who's like a grandma to me, like literally the biggest loss of my entire life, she passed away. And while I will say it was extremely hard dealing with that, basically being by myself on the East Coast because I had no family that knew her here, had I stayed home and waited until the cancer was fully in remission, and then something like that happened, it may have taken me another year to like get up and go. And obviously being around family is nice, but it wouldn't have been best for what I needed for myself. That's why I'm saying it may not be like the perfect time to go, but you just have to go for what feels right for you. So yeah, moving to a new city, whether that is across the country, out of the country, or just like out of your parents' house, down the street, wherever it is, move based on like your heart, I would say don't even overthink it. Like, obviously, be safe, be smart, do all the things, be prepared, but things are not going to be perfect. They're just not. That's not how life works. And then if you wait for them to be perfect, you'll miss out on like opportunities and like jumps you could have taken, people you could have met because of that. So here we are, almost 2 years in DC. No regrets. It has been some tough times, but I made it. And I'll get into like another video of things that people don't really warn you about before you move across the country. But overall, no complaints for me. I have really started to create a life that I love. At first, I was like, oh, I'm definitely moving back to California, blah, 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 blah. And now I'm like, is the East Coast home? Can I stay out here? And I don't know. I think that all goes down to the partner I end up with, because I'm having kids and I have to have a supportive family to do that, whether it's mine or my partner's. So we're getting off the tangent, but if you are thinking of moving, this video is for you. This is my first YouTube video, so I forgot to make an intro, I forgot to make an outro, but I'm going to put this in there. If you saw this video, made it to the end, I really hope it gives you just some like motivation and even notes on how to change your mindset to actually make the move that you've been thinking about for a while. If you have any questions about how I did it in more detail, any lessons I've learned, I'm happy to share. Please comment, let me know. And I'm going to continue to post a few more things on just lessons learned on my move across the country. And then also just my lifestyle and things that I am doing to be the healthiest, happiest, hottest version of myself. I have established a lot of new habits within the recent months with a goal to just be that healthiest, happiest, hottest version of myself by the time I turn 30.